all want that feeling of control with our money, right? Mm. But honestly, sometimes trying to get a handle on personal finance feels a bit like juggling while riding a unicycle. The pieces are important, but getting them all working together, that's the tricky part. What if you could find a shortcut, not just to the basics, but to the really smart, strategic stuff? Well, good news. Today we're doing a deep dive into comprehensive personal financial planning. We've got two fantastic sources, the Financial Planning Guide and the Complete Guide to Financial Planning. Our goal, to pull out the absolute must-know insights, those moments that make you go, aha, to really help you optimize your finances. It's crucial stuff. So let's start right there. When we say financial planning, is it just about, tracking expenses and saving, or is there more to it?
Oh, it's definitely much more. A key message, maybe the key message from these guides is how vital a comprehensive, integrated approach is. They really hammer home that you need to understand all the parts, not just bits and pieces, for it to actually work effectively.
Okay, so no cherry picking allowed then. Let's unpack that. What actually happens if you, say, skip the foundational stuff? The books seem pretty strong on this.
They are. They explicitly warn that skipping chapters, especially the early ones, leads to a loss of efficiency, and they translate that directly. It means losing real money and important options down the line.
Real money. That definitely gets your attention.
Yeah.
So what are these foundational chapters they're pointing to?
Primarily chapters 2 and 3 in their structure. They cover your financial position, where you stand right now in risk management, bedrock stuff. And they don't just say it's important. They give these, scary real-life example. Intelligent people who just assume they understood everything.
And then things went wrong.
Big time. Lost significant money in something as seemingly simple as a money market account, or missed out on disability payments they were entitled to because of assumptions. They even use that old saying about what assume makes out of you and me? A bit blunt, maybe?
Yeah, a little cringeworthy, but memorable. Okay, so assumption is bad. Got it. Beyond that warning, how did the guide structure this comprehensive approach? You mentioned pillars.
Yes, exactly. They lay out 6 key components, basically 6 pillars that build the whole structure. It's very logical. First up, as I mentioned, is understanding your financial position. Chapter 2 stuff. That's cash management, credit, budgeting, getting a clear picture of your starting point.
Right, the absolute baseline. Makes sense. What's pillar number 2?
That's risk management. And importantly, this isn't just about insurance. It covers non-insurance techniques too. Ways to identify risks and protect yourself, maybe transfer some risk.
Okay, protect the downside.
Then you build. Accumulation planning. This is chapter 4. Strategies for growing your wealth, financial investment, sure, but also non-financial assets. Building that nest egg.
Gotcha. Growth strategies. What follows that?
Next is a really critical one. Income tax management. Chapter 5. It's full of strategies to, optimize your tax situation. And the books make a point of saying this chapter covers things most brokers would just tell you to talk to a CPA about. So real practical advice in there.
Interesting. Integrating tax right into the plan, not treating it separately. I like that. What are the last 2 pillars?
The 5th is retirement planning. And this isn't just for people nearing 60. It has advice for all ages, covers financial aspects, obviously, but also medical things, lifestyle choices, really thinking through that whole phase of life.
Crucial for everyone eventually. And the final one.
Estate planning. That's chapter 7, managing and transferring your assets after you're gone. But also clarifying things like the difference between a healthcare power of attorney and a living will. Important details for making sure your wishes are respected.
That is genuinely comprehensive. 6 distinct areas. But the guides stress these aren't separate boxes, right? They talk about this interconnectedness.
Absolutely. They really drive home how interwoven everything is. It's not a checklist. It's a web.
Could you give an example of that? How do they connect?
Sure. Well, tax management and accumulation strategies are a big one. They show how they constantly influence each other. You can't really plan wealth growth effectively without thinking tax at every stage. Another great example they use is how some modern insurance products, like long-term care insurance, can do double duty.
Double duty.
How so? Meaning one product can actually serve purposes in multiple pillars simultaneously. It might protect against risk, but also fit into your accumulation strategy, impact your tax planning, and be part of your retirement funding. Very integrated. They also point out something interesting. Certain investments, maybe tax-advantaged ones you'd think belong in the accumulation chapter, might actually be discussed mainly in the retirement planning chapter, which just reinforces that earlier warning. Skip chapters and you might miss key info you assumed was somewhere else. You need the whole map.
That makes perfect sense. Seeing the whole picture is key. Now, before diving deep into those 6 pillars, the books actually start somewhere else, don't they? With a pretty fundamental question.
They do, a really practical starting point.
Yeah, how do you even choose the right professional to help you with all this?
Yeah.
That feels like step 0 for a lot of people.
It's so important, and that's why Chapter 1 is dedicated to it. The books break down the different types of professionals out there, planners, brokers, advisors, and help you figure out who might be the best fit for your specific needs. They clarify what all those letters after someone's name actually mean, those professional designations, and they explain the difference between captive advisors who work for one company.
And can only sell that company's products.
Exactly. Versus independent advisors who have more freedom. They even talk about how to judge the value of those free analysis offers you see sometimes.
That's super helpful. What about fees? That's always confusing.
Yep, they cover that too. Different fee structures commission, fee only, fee-based, and guide you on when it might be okay to work with a commission broker and when maybe a different structure is better. They even claim to share some secrets and little knowns for successfully picking and working with a pro. And they tackle the big one, the fiduciary debate.
Ah, yes, whether the advisor has to put your interests first.
Precisely. Understanding that fiduciary standard versus just a suitability standard is critical. They also touch on the regulations around financial advice and how that landscape affects you.
Knowing how to choose help is almost as important as the plan itself, it sounds like. Okay, shifting gears a bit. The financial world changes so fast, new products, new services. What do the books say about recent trends? Any little-known changes?
Oh, yes. They definitely cover some cutting-edge stuff, mostly in the accumulation and retirement sections. It's about staying current. For instance, they discuss things like DIY software and online robo-planning. These are fairly new phenomena, right?
Right, very much so.
The books don't just mention them. They explain how they work, the pros, the cons, to help you decide if that route makes sense for you, or maybe complements working with a human advisor.
Okay, what else? Any specific products?
A big one they highlight is the Qualified Longevity Annuity Contract, or QLAC. Apparently these emerged around 2014 and were still pretty new, even evolving as of 2018. The key insight is that the books say even many professionals weren't fully up to speed on them yet.
Wow. So what do?
They're designed to provide guaranteed income much later in life, say after age 85. Think of it as insurance against outliving your money. And a really attractive feature is that the money you put into a QLAC, up to certain limits, can potentially be excluded when calculating your required minimum distributions, your RMDs, from retirement accounts.
So potential tax advantage and late life income security. Interesting. Anything else on the product front?
Yes, the evolution of life insurance and annuity products, it's quite remarkable, actually.
Yeah.
Newer life policies, for example, often allow you to access part of the death benefit while you're still alive.
Really? Under what circumstances?
Typically for things like terminal illness, or even to pay for long-term care needs like nursing home or at-home care. It adds this incredible flexibility. They also discuss hybrid policies specifically for long-term care. Some of these are structured so if you don't end up needing the care, the money isn't just lost to premium, it might come back as income. Some can even be set up so you don't have ongoing premiums.
That sounds way more flexible than older policies.
Definitely. And finally, they touch on trends in more complex investments. Things like mutual funds, yes, but also investment trusts, derivatives, risk hedging products. They note significant trends and still little-known changes over the last decade, especially how sophisticated tools like derivatives are being used more for risk management, not just speculation. They also flag that changes are brewing with equity-indexed annuities.
So the message is, stay informed, because the tools are constantly changing and getting potentially more powerful or complex.
Exactly. And the books aim to clearly describe and prescribe, meaning they explain and help you figure out if these things are relevant for you.
That clarity is gold. Now, if listening to this has really sparked someone's interest and they want to go even deeper, where can they find more?
Well, the author mentions supplemental resources and a blog online. It's at authordan.com. Seems like a good place for ongoing learning. Oh, and just a quick note. This material we've discussed is all about personal financial planning. The author apparently has a separate book planned for business entity financial planning in the future, something for business owners to maybe keep an eye out for.
Good to know. Well, this has been incredibly insightful. It really drives home the value of that truly comprehensive view. Making assumptions or ignoring one piece of the puzzle, it seems like that can really cost you.
It absolutely can. Significant setbacks are possible. And maybe here's a final thought to chew on. We've talked about all these evolving products, the DIY tools, the changing tax rules. Could it be that actively seeking out and understanding these little-known changes and trends, could that actually be more powerful for optimizing your finances than simply, say, diligently tracking every penny in your budget? Something to consider, is staying ahead of the curve the biggest lever you can pull?